Every person who entered this house left something behind. I left everything. The road to Barangay San Isidro had been abandoned for decades, yet my GPs insisted I was still moving forward. Trees leaned inward like conspirators, their branches clawing at the car roof, as if trying to stop me from leaving. Fog thickened with every meter, crawling low along the cracked asphalt like something alive. When the engine died, the silence that followed felt unnatural, too heavy, too deliberate. Then I saw it. At the end of the road stood a house that should not exist, its windows dark yet watching, its walls pulsing subtly, as if breathing. I had the sudden, horrifying certainty that the house already knew my name. I stepped out of the car, and the air felt wrong thick, damp, and warm, like exhaled breath. The smell of rot and old rain soaked into my lungs. Every instinct screamed for me to turn back, but the forest behind me was now impossibly dark, swallowing the road whole. When I looked again, the house seemed closer than before. The front door creaked open slowly, uninvited, revealing a hallway that stretched far deeper than the house's exterior should allow. From inside came a sound, soft, rhythmic, unmistakable. Breathing, slow, patient, waiting. The moment I crossed the threshold, the door slammed shut behind me with bone-shaking force. Dust erupted into the air, carrying whispers that brushed against my ears like fingernails. The hallway walls were lined with peeling wallpaper covered in stains shaped, disturbingly, like human faces frozen in silent screams. The floorboards shifted under my feet, not from rot but movement. Somewhere above me, something heavy dragged itself slowly across the ceiling. The house was not empty. It was full, and it was awake. I followed the hallway into what should have been a living room, but the space warped as I entered, stretching wider, taller, wrong. Furniture floated inches above the floor, gently swaying as if underwater. At the center stood an old television, flickering to life without power. On the screen was a live feed me, standing exactly where I was now, except the version of me on the screen was smiling. Slowly, its eyes rolled back, mouth stretching wider than humanly possible. Then it whispered, "You came back." I ran. The house shifted in response, hallways bending and twisting like veins. Doors appeared where walls once stood, while exits vanished entirely. Each room I passed showed fragments of memories I had buried, childhood fears, regrets, faces of people I failed. The whispers grew louder, overlapping into desperate pleas and mocking laughter. With every step, the floor pulsed beneath me, like a heartbeat accelerating in excitement. The house was feeding, and I was the meal. I stumbled into a bedroom that smelled of old perfume and decay. A woman sat on the bed, her back to me, humming a lullaby my mother used to sing. When she turned around, her face was stitched together from different ages, young, old, rotting all at once. Her eyes leaked black fluid as she reached toward me, fingers stretching too long. "You left," she said softly. "Now you stay." I tore myself away and slammed the door, but the house laughed deep, resonant, vibrating through the walls. The laughter shook framed photos, lining the corridor. Each photo showed me at different ages, standing in front of the same house. In every image, I was getting closer to the door. In the final frame, the door was opening from the inside. My reflection in a cracked mirror stopped moving when I did. It turned its head slowly, eyes hollow, skin gray. "It needs a heart," it whispered, "and you fit." The mirror split open like skin tearing, and hands reached through, grabbing my arms with freezing strength. I screamed as the walls closed in, narrowing the space, forcing me toward the house's core. At the center of the house was a massive chamber, its walls made of flesh and would fuse together. A colossal heartbeat in the middle, suspended by veins that pulsed with dark liquid. Every beat echoed screams. The house wasn't haunted, it was alive, and it was dying. It needed a replacement. Chains burst from the walls, wrapping around my limbs, dragging me closer to the heart. I felt my chest tighten as the house synchronized with my pulse. Memories flooded my mind, not mine, but the house's. Every soul it consumed, every scream absorbed into its walls. It didn't trap people out of cruelty. It trapped them to survive. I begged. The heart slowed, as if listening. Then it spoke, not in words, but in overwhelming hunger. The chains tightened. My heartbeat grew louder, drowning out my thoughts. I realized the truth too late. The house didn't tellure strangers. It called back those who once escaped. If you're still here, the house didn't scare you away. Subscribe and stay. There are more stories waiting in the dark. Pain exploded through my chest as something tore free. I watched in horror as my own heart was pulled from my body, still beating, glowing faintly. The house trembled in relief. Warmth spread through its walls. The chains loosened, and darkness took me. When I woke, I was no longer inside the house. I was the house. I felt every floorboard, every whisper, every approaching soul. My thoughts echoed through the halls. I could not move. I could only wait. Years passed. The road reappeared. Cars broke down. Travelers wandered in. I tried to warn them, to scream, but all that came out were whispers and open doors. The hunger returned slowly, inevitably. Tonight, I feel someone approaching. You. The house straightens. Eager. The door opens wide. I feel your footsteps inside me, your fear warming my walls, and as you step into the hallway, I finally remember your name.